Sir.
I hope the preparation is fine.
Yes, sir, going well.
Okay. Have you seen those recorded lectures now? A little bit?
Yes, sir. January, I have almost completed, just revising from the PDF. 1 or 2 pages are left.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. You may ask a bit of a doubts. We'll wait for a few minutes till few of the students join. If you have any doubts regarding yesterday's class or anything for that matter, we'll wait for another 2 to 3 minutes. And then we'll start.
So, how will the test be conducted for the next week?
It will be an objective type test. You'll be shared a link. So,
Okay.
yeah, like that. I will try to, include those things as well, which I have not taught in my lectures, so that we increase the ambit a little bit. So even if you're not able to answer a few questions, don't worry. Should be okay.
Okay.
Our purpose is to enhance the coverage as much as possible. If we can do that. So that's the idea. That's the objective. Let's see how far we can get across this one. I've also, I'm planning to start this podcast series with certain people from different fields. So you guys may check out, just in case, might help you with some perspective.
Sure, sir.
Yeah. So I think we'll start. Let others join in the meantime. Okay. So yesterday we were studying about these integrated commands. We have the Tri-Services Command in Andamans, you know that. And then there is a Strategic Forces Command to handle the country's nuclear arsenal. Okay. The idea was taken up after the Kargil War. Because we were caught unawares in the Kargil War. So that's what prompted us to, bring more synergy between our various arms of the armed forces. Okay. Now today, our topic is about Lakhpati Didis. What are Lakhpati Didis? Let's understand this. These are women earning annual 1 lakh or more, rupees 1 lakh or more from SHGs. Okay. Self-help groups, we have discussed about it in quite some detail under the Ministry of Rural Development. Okay. They signed an MOU with Ministry of Ayush. So this is about homeopathy, Unani, all these traditional Indian medicines. Okay. So Ministry of Ayush to provide training to rural youth and women in the Ayush healthcare system, aiming to empower them and develop skilled personnel through Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gramin Kaushalya Yojana. So this thing you should remember, DDUGKY. ठीक है, तो ये लखपति दीदीज का कॉन्सेप्ट है empowering women to make sure that they earn certain financial independence, and earning 1 lakh or more, you call them Lakhpati Didis. And the initiative would be like MORD plus the Ministry of Ayush, teaching them certain traditional practices so that they can make a living out of that. Okay. Now next is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. It released Women and Men in India. So simply they may ask this report, who released this report? So it was released by MOSPI, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. Now, last time we checked, what is the sex ratio? It is 945, and it would be 952 by 2036. So we have quite some ground to cover with respect to gender balance. 952 by 2036. Please note down and tell me, this is your work for tomorrow. What is child sex ratio of India? Child sex ratio. So this is your homework for tomorrow. If I forget, you remind me. Maybe tomorrow means the day after tomorrow, on Monday. Now, what is European Free Trade Association? India imports gold from Switzerland. Okay. and gold imported from Switzerland accounted for almost half of India's imports. So this thing is important. So if asked what is the major, what do you say, supplier of India's gold, that would be Swiss gold. So we are not just keeping our money in the Swiss banks, we are also buying Swiss gold as well. So EFTA countries, the European Free Trade Association countries, have been demanding lower or zero import duty for gold. What India is doing, India is imposing a lot of a decent amount of import duty to discourage, because we don't want our citizens to invest in physical gold. That would be kind of a dead asset. So we would want them to invest in sovereign gold bonds. Sovereign gold bonds. So also to reduce our import bill, as well as balance out India's foreign exchange reserves. So that is the objective here. Okay. So what is EFTA? Established in 1960 in Geneva, Switzerland. Intergovernmental organization. So it is not an NGO, it is an intergovernmental organization. That part is important. Of 4 countries, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, Switzerland, for the promotion of free trade and economic integration. So just remember these countries: Iceland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and obviously Switzerland. So these are the 4 countries. Just remember that. Ministry of Animal Husbandry and Fisheries unveiled the department's annual publication, The Basic Animal Husbandry Statistics 2022. तो ये बस इतना याद रखो कि report, obviously this is a no-brainer. So obviously it has to be Ministry of Animal Husbandry and Fisheries. They can ask, prior to this, it came under Ministry of Agriculture. Ministry of Agriculture. Animal husbandry also used to come under Ministry of Agriculture. Now it has been kind of diverted. We have animal husbandry, fishery, and dairy that comes under a separate ministry. But overall it comes under agriculture and allied services. So if we understand as a sector of the economy, it would come under agriculture and allied services. Okay. Next is Reach Out. What is Mission Reach Out? So Ministry of Earth Sciences is implementing an umbrella scheme for research, education, and training outreach for capacity building. It is with respect to the R&Ds. R&D in this sector, research, education, and training. Okay. Reach Out program by Ministry of MOES, Ministry of Earth Sciences. Do you remember the ministry when it's asked? Reach Out initiative is taken up under which ministry, and it's for the capacity building and research and development, R&D. Okay. It has certain sub schemes. What are these? R&D in Earth System Sciences. Obviously, Ministry of Earth Sciences deals with all the climatic data, the oceanographic data, and I think deep sea exploration also comes under this. So International Training Center for Operational Oceanography, ITC Ocean, and Program for Skill Development of Earth System Sciences. So just remember these broad domains under which this works. First, Earth System Sciences would obviously come under Ministry of Earth Sciences, Earth System Sciences. Then we have oceanography studies that also come under this. Okay, so this you need to understand. Next we have Barda Wildlife Sanctuary. What is Barda Wildlife Sanctuary? Where is it? It is in Gujarat. So plan to translocate 40 adult and sub-adult lions to Barda Wildlife Sanctuary in Gujarat. कहाँ पे है ये? It is close to Gir National Park. ठीक है? तो वहाँ पे Maldhari community, there's a tribal community, Maldhari community, which will also have to be relocated along with the big cats, as it is important to restore around 1,000 kilometers of exclusive lion habitat under Project Lion. Okay? Maldharis are local pastoral communities within the Gir area and the Barda Wildlife Sanctuary. So just understand this that Barda Wildlife Sanctuary has been. इसके अलावा आपको दूसरी भी कूनो नेशनल पार्क के बारे में भी पता होना चाहिए. कूनो नेशनल पार्क in MP, which has been identified as a potential site. In fact, not just a potential site, cheetahs have been translocated there. So cheetah translocation program, which is the first international big cat translocation program. So cheetah translocation, okay, Kuno National Park. And if we talk about Barda Wildlife Sanctuary, it has, it has been planned to relocate some 40 adult and sub-adult lions. Okay. So, and Maldharis are traditional pastoral communities associated with protection of lion species. Okay. Seaweed park and corals. So we have a government planning to set up seaweed park in Tamil Nadu, ignoring the threat that Capachus, I don't see, just check the pronunciation, a widely grown invasive seaweed, Capaphycius, whatever it is. So it is an invasive seaweed, which poses threat to corals. India में corals कहाँ मिलते हैं? We have Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So we have corals there. We have Lakshadweep. Okay. We have in Gulf of Mannar. It is in Tamil Nadu coast. We also have, for example, this is our coastline. We also have, this is the Gulf of Mannar here. We also have certain here in Chilika area, Sundarbans area, also in Gulf of Cambe. इस area में भी आपको you will get corals. यहाँ पे तो मिल जाएंगे Lakshadweep, here Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So just get this idea where you will get these corals. Next is you must know about the seaweed Capaphycius, which is a species of red algae. It is a species of red algae distributed in these waters. Just ignore this fact, not required. Just understand the species Capaphycius. It is an invasive species and it will be a potential threat to the coral ecology. Potential threat to the coral ecology. Understood? Okay. Next we have Brazilian researchers ने क्या find किया है? Terrifying plastic rocks on remote island. They are called as plastigomerids. Okay. If you know, around 800 million tons of plastic waste is dumped in the oceans, which has led to threat to the sustenance of many marine species as well as the overall balance of the marine ecology. So these plastigomerids, when these plastic materials they get accumulated, ऐसे इकट्ठे हो जाएंगे नीचे ocean floor पे, so they will turn into calcium भी add होगा and then they'll become kind of rocks, which they are being called as plastigomerids. So melted plastic has become intertwined with rocks on the island, and which is leading to these plastigomerids, which are a mixture of sedimentary granules and other debris held together by plastic. So this is very, very dangerous because these microplastics will gradually get into the food chain through the marine food that we eat, seafood that we eat. So this is how we need to understand the importance of eliminating plastic waste. Now we have a species, Eurasian otter. What is the IUCN status? It is a near threatened species. Okay, flagship species है because it is an indicator of aquatic pollution. If you have like a good amount of otter population, then it means the marine ecology is in good state. But its dwindling population would point to the fact that there is increase in BOD, biological oxygen demand, as well as reduction in dissolved oxygen. So the thing is, the amount of water, oxygen that is required will increase if there is more organic matter to be degraded, to be oxidized. In that case, BOD increases, biological oxygen demand. It points to increased pollution in water, increased pollution. So that is how it is. You need to understand that if there is sufficient amount of these otter species, we seem to have a good quality of water. It is a semi-aquatic carnivorous mammal. Tributary of River Chenab in Jammu and Kashmir. Also, it's found there as well. Okay. President's color awarded to INS Dronacharya. Just remember this. Okay. It's a gunnery school of Indian Navy. कहाँ पे located है? Kochi. Kochi में located है. That's all you need to know. Colombo Security Dialogue. It's a trilateral dialogue between India, Sri Lanka, Maldives. ये factual information है. इसको याद कर लो. Indian Coast Guard Region Northeast, ठीक है, is conducting 4th edition of tabletop exercise. ठीक है, tabletop exercise, although too many exercises, याद रखना थोड़ा मुश्किल है, but at least give a cursory glance that so that you are able to identify. Colombo conclave is important. India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Mauritius has joined later. So it's a quadrilateral now. It's a quadrilateral initiative. India, Mauritius, Maldives, and Sri Lanka. Exercise Sea Dragon 23. क्या है ये? US-led multinational annual exercise focusing on anti-submarine warfare. कहाँ पे? Indo-Pacific. Anti-submarine warfare in the Indo-Pacific region. All right. So exercise Sea Dragon, led by US. India is also a part. Remember this. Where? Indo-Pacific. All right. Next आपका आ गया Saudi-Iran deal. So of late we have been seeing the countries in the Middle East, and the particularly you've seen Israel and UAE coming together, and the rift between these countries kind of bridging. So Iran and Saudi Arabia have been traditionally they have been arch rivals. So China has kind of brokered some sort of agreement on certain aspects. Let's see what it is. So joint trilateral statement was released, which includes a resumption of diplomatic relations. So since the Iranian Revolution, a lot of love has been lost between these two countries. So the resumption of diplomatic relations, the opening of embassies and missions, and respect for sovereignty of states, and non-interference in the international affairs of each other. So we have seen that the southern Saudi Arabia, southern part of Saudi Arabia, for example, we see there's Africa. तो ये सऊदी अरेबिया का जो southern part है, नीचे यमन आ गया और ये सऊदी अरेबिया south, this is north. So this southern part of Saudi Arabia, it is the unrest, kind of some unrest is fueled by radical elements supported by Iran. So Iran has been trying to create certain unrest, and similarly Saudi has also been trying to kind of make its covert actions in the Iranian territory. So this kind of finding some middle ground herein. So it is to implement the security cooperation that they had agreed to in 2001, and general agreement of cooperation in economy, trade, investment, technology, and all these things. Just remember that China has brokered a recent trilateral deal between these two countries, though not on all fronts, but there have been certain convergences for them. Moving on, what is the national champions model? So ये आपने देखा होगा recently, government, rather than going for bids, it has allotted the projects, infrastructure projects, big infrastructure projects to big players. For example, Reliance, Adani, This is known as the national champions model. National champions model, that is big industrial houses, so as to reduce the volatility of funding, and it is easy to manage with big houses rather than small houses, for maintaining less volatility in the infrastructure projects. So what it is a modified PPP approach by assigning bulk of infrastructure provisioning for roads, ports, airports, energy, communications, you name it, everything that comes under the sun. So mostly the idea was to improve the overall infrastructure speed, expedite the processes, but there are again certain challenges, both the cartelization of these big houses and crowding out of the smaller business houses that wouldn't get an opportunity to grow. So that is the national champions model. How does this model overcome the difficulty of financing infrastructure? So इसमें incentivizing national champions to build projects identified by government. ठीक है? New aspects क्या है इसमें? It gives control over existing projects with strong cash flows. For example, certain airports that have been doing well. So you will allot those projects to these national champions, which helps them to achieve targeted returns and borrow from external credit markets and lower the finance, freeing up domestic savings. तो इससे क्या होगा, ये बाहर से इन्वेस्टमेंट सोर्सिंग करेंगे बिग हाउसेस, और इनको वो वाले प्रोजेक्ट्स ज्यादा दिए जाएंगे जहां पे ऑलरेडी the working capital is in profitable. The overall operational efficiencies are much better. So they want to keep the domestic financing for domestic other projects, other social sector projects, and kind of outsource this, delegate this to the big houses, so that they have more credibility. They will have relatively more credibility sourcing in foreign funds. So that is the idea behind this. Okay. Next you have Perumal Murugan's novel Pocosi or Pyre. So ये सवाल आने के तो स्कोप रहेंगे. Books and authors. So Pocosi, इसको Pyre भी कहते हैं. Pyre means fire, जो जिसपे it's the you burn the person when he dies. Pyre. Tamil writer Perumal Murugan's book Pocosi or Pyre in English translation has been nominated for the International Booker Prize. Okay? Making the first novel to be nominated for the award. Just read about this a little bit. Next is Sika deer. A recent study in Japan found that Sika deer living in Kasuga Taisha Shrine and Todaji Buddhist temple in the city of Nara, it has a unique mitochondrial DNA. Okay, due to ban on the hunting for almost 1500 years, giving their status in Shintoism, Japan's national religion. Okay, Sika deer are revered as the messengers of Shinto gods. तो क्या हुआ यहाँ पे कि for the last 1500 years these deers have not been hunted down, because of which there had been conservation of their genetic pool, and which allowed the genetic pool to strengthen. Okay, because of which there are certain unique mitochondrial changes. Mitochondria में DNA का काफी एक proliferation हुआ in a good way. Mitochondrial changes in the DNA. Mitochondrial DNA. ठीक है? So also, if you Shintoism यहाँ का religion है, Japanese religion, so they are also revered as Sika deer. Sika deer, if you ask, it's from Japan. Just go through these things. They may sound a little bit too complex, but reading them will help you eliminate in the exam. That's the idea. That's what I would impress upon here. Rameshwar Prasad versus Union of India. What is this case? In 2005, Bihar saw a hung assembly with no party alliance able to reach a majority. क्या हुआ फिर? Governor recommending president's rule. Obviously, if you have studied Article 356, usme there are certain conditions. First is if the governance of the state cannot be carried on with the provisions of the Constitution. Secondly, if it fails to comply with the instructions of the center, constitutional instruction. Then also, and thirdly, if there is a hung assembly and no party has a clear majority, in that case, the governor will recommend president's rule under Article 365 in that case. In first two cases, it is Article 356. Later, the governor recommended the dissolution of the assembly and fresh elections were announced, okay, by the Election Commission. The Supreme Court struck down the president's proclamation dissolving the state assembly as unconstitutional and thought it did, and though it did not restore the assembly, it defines the contours of governor's power to dissolve the assembly. So see, the thing is, there are certain checks and balances. There are certain checks and balances to the power of governor to impose or recommend president's rule. He can only recommend president's rule. The thing is, over a period of time, there have been certain judicial pronouncements which have categorically mentioned that such actions would not be out of the scope of judicial review, as it is as judicial review under Article 13 is a part of the basic structure, of the Constitution. So anything that is violative of the ultra vires of the basic structure of the Constitution would be struck down by the judiciary as a legislative overreach, a legislative breach of the Constitution. So that is the case here. तो ये आपका पॉलिटी से भी एक थोड़ा कनेक्ट हो जाएगा ये टॉपिक, the governor's power to proclaim president's rule. Next is Unnati. What is Unnati? It is a Kerala empowerment society, opportunities for employment and self-employment, youth of SC/ST communities. ठीक है, उन्नति कहाँ पे है? केरला में है. It is a self-empowerment scheme, employment generation scheme for SC/ST youth in the state of Kerala. Now, if you have a little bit background about the self-help group movement that I mentioned also, I think 2-3 lectures back, Kudumshri was one of the most important self-help groups that set up in late 90s, set up in 1998. It was envisioned as a part of People's Plan and local self-government with women at the center of it. So self-help groups, these bring marginalized sections, particularly women, to kind of come together and pool in their skill set as well as their resources for creating a viable economic enterprise, so that they have economic empowerment, they have financial security, and which will eventually lead to socio-economic indicators improving along the way. So that is what you have to understand here. Okay. Next is Global Terrorism Index. Who gives the Global Terrorism Index? Institute for Economics and Peace. आपको बस इतना ही याद रखना है. Global Terrorism Index कौन देता है? Institute for Economics and Peace. ठीक है. Afghanistan remains the country most impacted by terrorism for the 4th consecutive year. Not much to go beyond this. Also, you need to know about this organization. Its headquarters is in Sydney, Australia, set up in 2008. And it is not an intergovernmental organization. It is just a think tank. WEF is also not an intergovernmental organization. It's kind of a non-profit organization. Okay? Just try to understand the differences between which organizations are intergovernmental organizations, which organizations are like think tanks, and which are NGOs, not-for-profit institutions. Next, we have International Criminal Court. It was created as a standing body to investigate war crimes, genocide, and crimes against humanity, set up under the 1998 treaty, also known as the Rome Statute. So ये थोड़े से important facts हैं. This will be relevant in all exams that you're giving. ICC, Rome Statute. ठीक है? Basically, it's about human rights, protection of human rights, people impacted by war crimes, genocides in areas like, for example, Rohingyas, and otherwise also certain sections in a certain country being targeted. For example, currently we have Ukraine war going on, Gaza, you have Palestinians being impacted. All this will be looked into International Criminal Court for its legality and for the violation of the basic rights of the man. Okay. Previously क्या था? यूएनएससी, यूनाइटेड नेशन सिक्योरिटी काउंसिल ने एडहॉक ट्राइब्यूनल्स बनाए थे इस चीज के लिए, पर्टिकुलरली जो आपके रवांडा में तुत्सी और हुतू हुतू ट्राइब्स हैं वहां पे, तुत्सी एंड हुतू। और युगोस्लाविया में भी आपको पता है जब द सीज ऑफ सारायेवो हुआ था और अदर इनिशिएटिव्स हुए थे, तब वहां पे काफी जेनोसाइड्स के इंसिडेंट हुए थे। आपका द मोस्ट पॉपुलर ग्लोबल जेनोसाइड इज द एंटी सेमाइटिक मूवमेंट, यू नो, द Jews exterminated by the Nazis. So all these point to the historical wrongs that have been done, and they bring the consciousness of the humanity towards ensuring that these things don't happen in the future. So that's why these things come up. Okay. Where's the headquarters? It is in Hague, okay, a Dutch city, Netherlands, and has been a center for international law and justice. अब इसका इंपॉर्टेंट एक पॉइंट क्या है? द कोर्ट कैनॉट ट्राई डिफेंडेंट्स इन एब्सेंटिया, ठीक है? इट रिक्वायर्स योर फिजिकल प्रेजेंस, cannot be defended in absentia. If Putin travels to a state that is party to the ICC, the country must arrest him according to the obligations. अब इसके आपने देखा होगा ब्रिक्स कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी अभी रिसेंटली। ब्रिक्स कहाँ हुई थी? Anyone? Where did the BRICS conference happen? Any idea, anyone? No one. So the BRICS conference happened in Johannesburg, South Africa. Okay, South Africa में हुई थी. So Ukraine war की वजह से a lot of countries have put sanctions on Russia, and particularly warrant against Putin. So had Putin gone to physically gone to attend the BRICS summit, he would have been arrested, because Cyril Ramaphosa, the premier of South Africa, he would have been obliged under the international law to arrest him. That's why he did not turn up physically, though he attended virtually also. He did not attend the G20 in India as well. So these are the things you have to understand in the global, security regime as well as the international affairs. Next is National Institute of Ocean Technology. What it has done? A green self-powered desalinization plant in which place? Lakshadweep. Headquarters कहाँ पे? NIOT के हमने पहले भी पढ़ा है, चेन्नई में है ये. The headquarters of NIOT is in Chennai. NIOT, National Institute of Ocean Technology, it is in Chennai. Okay. तो क्या होगा इसमें? लो टेम्परेचर थर्मल desalinization technology will free of emissions, because it will be a green climatically suitable process, और potable water produce करेगा for the 6 islands of this one. Difference कितना होना चाहिए? 15 डिग्री सेल्सियस का टेम्परेचर डिफरेंस चाहिए, ठीक है? Cold water at the surface condenses, which is warmer, but pressure has to be lowered using a vacuum pump. तो क्या होता है, जो upper layers होती हैं water की, the top layers, they are relatively, what you call, they are warmer. They are relatively warmer. And as we go more deeper, the penetration of sunlight reduces, and these lower layers are denser and cooler because of the increased concentration of salt also, and the weight of the overlying layers also. बस इतना याद रखो कि ये desalinization plant कहाँ पे सेटअप हुआ है? For the islands of Lakshadweep by NIOT, headquartered at Chennai under Ministry of, obviously, Earth Sciences. This is all you need to remember here. Next is CSIR Robotics. It develops first indigenous quadruped robo exoskeleton in India. क्या है ये? Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative. As a part of that, Hyderabad-based this CSIR Robotics, India's first indigenous quadruped. Quadruped means 4-legged robo, and exoskeleton for the defense sector. So this thing, it has developed a kind of a robo. If we ask which organization has developed India's first four-legged robo and exoskeleton for the defense sector, it would be Swire Robotics. ठीक है? अभी इंडिया currently कहाँ से import करता है? US and Switzerland. So we are importing our robots from US and Switzerland, and this Swire Robotics creating its first such four-legged robo and an exoskeleton kind of opens up the doors for Indian industries, also Indian private sector firms also, to make inroads in this sector. Okay. So active exoskeletons, when worn by the soldiers, can carry such heavy loads without expending much effort. Even if they are carried 25 kgs, soldiers feel that they are carrying only. Okay? You must have seen the US soldiers wearing these very body fit suits. So these are the exoskeletons which kind of have the cavities for putting your ammunition and your arms, your gun, your essential items of survival. So that is how the modern technology is also helping the soldiers to acclimatize in the adverse terrains. So this idea, little bit, you got to understand. Okay. Next is lab-grown diamonds. The government has abolished 5% tax on imported diamond seeds. ठीक है? 5% जो tax था diamond seeds पे, and is putting special focus on laboratory-grown diamonds. ठीक है? Laboratory-grown diamonds पे focus हो रहा है. ठीक है? India कितना contribute करता है? 15% to the world's lab-grown diamonds, world's largest cutting and polishing center as well, accounting for 90% of polished diamonds across the world. India contributes 19% to the total diamond exports. So polished diamonds में India का contribution है आपका 90%, and overall exports अगर देखिए global exports का, it's quite a big number, 19%. So हम इजराइल से काफी ज्यादा डायमंड्स इंपोर्ट करते हैं. ठीक है, तो वो भी आपको थोड़ा सा देख लेना. लैब ग्रोन डायमंड्स कैन बी मेड फॉर 20% लेस. ठीक है, दे आर मोर कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव एज वेल. एनवायरमेंटल फुटप्रिंट भी कम होता है. So these are the steps that we're taking to replace the exploitation of the natural resources and arrive at more viable solutions. ठीक है, अब एक species है orangutans की, Hulog gibbons. Hulog gibbons. Its IUCN status is endangered. Could you tell me in which part it is more prominently found? Hulog gibbon. Guys, be a little more interactive. It will be for your own interest only. Anyone has any idea? Yes or no?
No, sir.
Anyone else? Ayushi, Ruchika? Nobody? So see, the Hulog gibbon is a species found mostly in Northeast Himalayas. Okay? Northeast Himalayas, particularly Assam. वहां पे आपको जीज लंगूर भी मिलता है. जीज लंगूर, ठीक है. चक्रशिला वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी है वहां पे, चक्रशिला. वो भी हम पढ़ेंगे अगर जब आएगा आगे. तो जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड, हुलॉग गिबन सिर्फ नॉर्थ ईस्ट में मिलता है. इसका आईयूसीएन स्टेटस इज एंडेंजर्ड. क्लियर? अभी 2023 has been declared as International Year of Millets. मिलेट्स को हम श्री अन्ना भी कहते हैं. श्री अन्ना, ठीक है. अन्न का श्री. इट इज वेरी हाई robust crop. It is very climate friendly as well as it is nutrient rich. So you must understand when the Green Revolution came. So before Green Revolution, we had a very diversified food basket. So after Green Revolution, the focus shifted more towards wheat and rice, and that too in areas which were not conducive to growing wheat and rice. For example, Punjab, Haryana, and Western UP. This led to inequalities across states, across regions, as well as inequalities within crops. For example, oil seeds, millets, pulses, all these got ignored, and we kind of these became our staple. this is what you have to understand, the context behind bringing this millet revolution now, because they are more hardy crops. They are climate smart, climate resilient crops. They don't need that much irrigation also. According to a study also, we consume, I think, 8 to 10,000 of liters of water. I think, I'm not clear about the exact number, about producing 1 kg of rice. And more of that we are exporting. We are exporting outside. Okay? So basically, we are effectively exporting water. We are exporting water. That has to be understood. We are so water stressed and we are exporting water. That becomes a great challenge. That's why we are resorting to new techniques of rice cultivation like SRI, Systematic Rice Intensification Scheme, and other schemes as well. Okay. Coming back to the Shri Anna thing. So the conference organized by APIDA. APIDA comes under Ministry of Commerce and Industry. That is Agriculture, Processed Food Products Export Development Agency. तो APIDA अगर पूछ लें आपसे, APIDA किसके अंडर आता है? Ministry of Commerce and Industry. Okay. Next आपका आ गया Her Start. What is this? It is, the government has launched this new platform called Her Start to encourage and promote women entrepreneurs. Obviously, from the start, startup, it is very clear. Women entrepreneurs. Just understand this. इसमें incubator होगा, accelerator होगा. Incubator will, startup incubator for women entrepreneurs, and accelerator will, give that much needed push and momentum to the women entrepreneurs. A monthly allowance of 20,000 for 1 year will be given to these startups, so that to cover up for the initial gestation period, so they are able to absorb those shocks of initial lack of finances. ठीक है, created by गुजरात यूनिवर्सिटी. बस ये याद रख लें आप. नेक्स्ट आ जाइए आप तमिलनाडु कासानोई इरापल्ली थिट्टम. So it has successfully reduced early tuberculosis death rate through a new initiative called this. तो अगर ये पूछ लें आपसे, ये TNKET किसने लॉन्च किया है? तमिलनाडु ने किया है, and it has helped in reducing early tuberculosis. Okay, remember this much. कब लॉन्च हुआ? अप्रैल में. ज्यादा इसकी डिटेल चाहिए नहीं आपको. ठीक है, यहां तक किसी को कोई डाउट है?
No, sir, understood.
स्पीड तो तेज नहीं है. आई होप आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू फास्ट.
No, sir.
फाइन, नो? ओके. Don't get too overwhelmed by too much, factual information. Just sift through it gradually. After 2 or 3 revisions, you will start getting hold of it. Are you able to get the context that I'm trying to build around these subjects, around the current affairs? Are you able to understand the idea behind why we are reading them? What is the background? Is that, getting some drift there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful. Moving on. Kalanidhi Award. Kalanidhi Award 2023. Carnatic vocalist and Padma Shri body, Bombay Jayashri, has been selected for the Sangeet Kalanidhi Award. Okay, just remember, if somebody asks, if it's asked that Bombay Jayashri is associated with which profession? So, Carnatic vocalist, that is going to be your answer. And awarded with this award, maybe they can give a couple of statements, or maybe a single statement. Just get this thing. Okay. Matua Mahamela, what is it? 212th birth anniversary of Shri Harichand Thakurji, whoever he is, some belonging to the Matua community. It is a subset of the lower class Avarna Hindus. Okay, jo Shudras they were called in, who belong to Nam Shudra, scheduled caste group, and also referred to as Chandals. Okay. This person Shri Shri Harichand Thakur ji, belonging to this Chandal community, started a socio-religious reform movement in 1860, where in Orakandi. ओराकांडी अभी बांग्लादेश में है, तो ये प्लेस इन न्यूज में आ जाएगा आपका ओराकांडी, एसोसिएटेड विद श्री श्री हरिचंद ठाकुर फ्रॉम दिस लोअर क्लास अवर्ना हिंदू चंडाल कम्युनिटी, ठीक है। इवेंचुअली इट लेड टू द क्रिएशन ऑफ माटुआ, ठीक है, माटुआ कम्युनिटी का फाउंडेशन हुआ। सौराष्ट्र तमिल समागम, ठीक है, सौराष्ट्र कहाँ पे, इट इज इन गुजरात। तमिल समागम सौराष्ट्र के साथ मिलकर इन्होंने ऑर्गेनाइज किया होगा गुजरात में। मे बी इट मे बी हैपनिंग like with rotation, 1 year in maybe Tamil Nadu and 1 year in Gujarat. I'm not too sure, but I'm just trying to reason that out. Okay. India's geo-heritage sites of Jamar Kotra and Jawar. So there are 2 sites recognized by the GSI, Geological Survey of India. What are these sites? Jamar Kotra is a stromatolite fossil park. ठीक है, कब बना क्या हुआ इतना नहीं जाना है, बस फॉसिल पार्क है। इट हैज प्रिजर्व्ड रिकॉर्ड्स ऑफ साइनोबैक्टीरिया व्हिच इज ब्लू ग्रीन एल्गे भी कहते हैं इसको हम, ठीक है। फॉस्फेट रिच है। ये 2-3 चीजें याद रखो। पहला, इट इज अ स्टोमेटोलाइट फॉसिल पार्क, साइनोबैक्टीरिया के प्रिजर्व्ड रिकॉर्ड्स मिले यहाँ से, और फॉस्फेट रिच है ये, ठीक है। एंड सेकंड इज जवार, इट इज वर्ल्ड्स ओल्डेस्ट नोन जिंक स्मेल्टिंग साइट, ठीक है, आर्कियोलॉजिकल इंपॉर्टेंस की है ये। तो ये 2 चीजें याद रखो, क्या इनकी इंपॉर्टेंस है। ये जिंक स्मेल्टिंग के लिए पॉपुलर है, ये फॉस्फेट रिच है, और यहाँ साइनोबैक्टीरिया के रिमेन्स आपको प्रिजर्व इसके जो फॉसिल्स हैं वो मिले हैं, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट यू हैव वर्ल्ड समिट ऑन इंफॉर्मेशन सोसाइटी अवार्ड, ऑडिट ऑनलाइन, दैट इज फैसिलिटेटिंग ऑनलाइन ऑडिट्स अक्रॉस पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस। दिस इज नॉट दैट इंपॉर्टेंट, जस्ट सिफ्ट थ्रू इट। Audit online क्या है? It facilitates finance of the audit accounts of all 3 levels of panchayats, ठीक है। किसने डेवलप किया? बस this much you have to remember. Generally the central and state government के कुछ जो IT से related projects होते हैं, NIC is mostly related, associated in some capacity or the other. Unless you know otherwise, you can take a shot and you can answer NIC, ठीक है। ये आपका प्रोजेक्ट था ई पंचायत मिशन मोड, ऑब्वियसली अंडर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ पंचायती राज, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट आपका आ गया वर्ल्ड्स फर्स्ट सैंड बैटरी। फिनलैंड हैज इंस्टॉल्ड द वर्ल्ड्स फर्स्ट सैंड बैटरी। तो बस इतना याद रखो इसमें। वाई सैंड? क्योंकि सैंड को हम 600 डिग्री तक हीट कर सकते हैं। इट हैज लो हीट कंडक्टिविटी एंड रिड्यूसेस एनर्जी लॉस, ठीक है। कैपेसिटी वगैरह याद करने की जरूरत नहीं है, बस इतना याद रखो, वर्ल्ड्स फर्स्ट सैंड बैटरी। कहाँ पे? फिनलैंड। फिनलैंड इज वन ऑफ द स्कैंडिनेवियन कंट्रीज। Next you have horseshoe crabs. What are these? These are marine and brackish water arthropods. Family याद नहीं करनी, इतना ये आपको नहीं पूछेगा। Marine and brackish water arthropods हैं, ठीक है। They are not true crabs. They are not true crustaceans. They don't belong to the family of crustaceans, ठीक है। They are arthropods, ठीक है। They are considered as living fossils, meaning they have existed nearly unchanged for the last 445 million years, ठीक है। तो अनचेंज रहे हैं। ओडिशा इनका लार्जेस्ट हैबिटेट है इंडिया में। तो इंडिया में ओडिशा इज द लार्जेस्ट हैबिटेट ऑफ हॉर्सशू क्रैब्स। दे आर नॉट क्रस्टेशियंस। इसमें याद रखने वाली चीज ये पूछ सकते हैं, हॉर्सशू क्रैब्स, which of the following statements of horseshoe crabs are right or wrong? They will give it belongs to crustacean family. It is not. It is not a crustacean, it is an arthropod. What? An arthropod. Arthropod, ठीक है। दूसरा, ओडिशा में सबसे ज्यादा हैबिटेट है इनका, और ये कम अंडर शेड्यूल 4 ऑफ WLPA। अगर आपने रिसेंटली पढ़ा होगा, प्रीवियस लेक्चर्स में ध्यान दिया होगा, तो WLPA 1972 के 6 शेड्यूल होते थे, अभी रिड्यूस करके 4 कर दिए गए। फर्स्ट शेड्यूल इज फॉर एनिमल्स विद हाई लेवल ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन, second for animals with lower level protection, third is for plants, and fourth is for species under sites, ठीक है। तो ये याद रखना आपने। IUCN स्टेटस क्या है? अमेरिकन का वल्नरेबल, ट्राइस्पाइन का एंडेंजर्ड। तो ये थोड़ा सा कर्सरी नजर दे दो, याद रहेगा तो ठीक, नहीं तो कोई बात नहीं। नेक्स्ट इज किरित परख कमेटी. This committee was constituted last year to review the existing pricing formula for domestically produced natural gas in India. ठीक है? At present, the government fixes the prices of gas produced from oil fields of ONGC and Oil India Limited. ठीक है? अभी क्या है? गवर्नमेंट फिक्स करती है इसके प्राइसेस, जो ONGC के और these account for 80% of the annual gas output. हमने ऑयल को तो डीरेगुलेट कर लिया ना. We have deregulated oil prices. They are now more in line with the market fluctuations. ठीक है? तो recommendations क्या बोला इन्होंने? Fixing price band for administered price mechanism. Administered price mechanism क्या होगा कि the central government, Ministry of Petroleum होगी या और जो भी concerned department होगी, they will administer the price as per the, so that it doesn't become too costly for the people. ठीक है? Oil के केस में, petroleum और diesel के केस में, now that thing has been deregulated. ठीक? All right. Next is, this is an important report, synthesis report. ठीक है? कौन? IPCC की रिपोर्ट है. Synthesis report. It is the final part of the 6th assessment report of IPCC. 6th assessment report of IPCC. IPCC AR6. ठीक है? So IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel for Climate Change, it releases certain reports analyzing the adverse impacts of climate change on different aspects of the environment. तो ये इसकी रिपोर्ट है, ये याद रखना आपने. झरनी योजन पोर्टल, ये झारखंड गवर्नमेंट का है, टू इंश्योर 70% लोकल यूथ कोटा इन प्राइवेट सेक्टर. तो ये टाइम टू टाइम आपने देखा होगा, हरियाणा ने भी ऐसा किया था कि कुछ स्टेट्स क्या करती हैं, जो प्राइवेट सेक्टर जॉब्स हैं अपनी स्टेट में, वो लोकल यूथ के लिए प्रिजर्व करने के लिए कोशिश करती हैं, फॉर देयर पॉलिटिकल वोट बैंक ऑल्सो, एंड फॉर इंश्योरिंग थोड़ा सा कि इनसाइडर का, जो लोकल पीपल का जो एम्प्लॉयमेंट का इशू है, वो रिजॉल्व हो. ठीक है? तो इसको आपको नहीं देखना है ज्यादा. अभी आ जाइए, व्हाट इज वियना कन्वेंशन ऑन डिप्लोमेटिक रिलेशंस. तो वियना कन्वेंशन आपको कोई पूछेगा, एक तो है ना वियना कन्वेंशन फॉर ozone depleting substances, that is different. This one is for diplomatic relations. 1964 में ये साइन हुआ था. ठीक है? is nearly universally ratified. अब एक्सेप्शंस क्या है, किस किस कंट्री ने वियना कन्वेंशन साइन नहीं किया? पलाऊ एंड साउथ सुडान, जस्ट द टू ऑफ दीज, पलाऊ एंड साउथ Sudan. For example, diplomats, they enjoy certain immunities when serving in other countries, in their missions in other countries. So that is covered by this Vienna Convention. It provides the establishment, maintenance, termination of diplomatic relations between independent sovereign states. Okay? It affirms the concept of inviolability of diplomatic mission, which has been one of the enduring cornerstones of international diplomacy. Okay? PM Pranam Scheme. What is PM Pranam Scheme? It is a scheme for restoration, awareness, nourishment, melioration of the mother earth. मतलब अर्थ को रिजुविनेट करना, जो लॉस ऑफ सॉइल फर्टिलिटी हुआ है, या इरोजन हुआ है, या अदर डिग्रेडेशन हुआ है, उसको करेक्ट करने का ये एक ऑब्जेक्टिव है. नीति आयोग हैज बीन इंस्ट्रूमेंटल इन दिस. फीचर्स क्या है इसके? एक तो देखिए, नो सेपरेट बजट, इसके लिए कोई अलग से बजट नहीं है. जो फर्टिलाइजर सब्सिडीज से हमने थोड़ा सा कम करके जो पैसा बचा होगा, वो हम यहाँ पे यूज करेंगे. 50% of the subsidy savings will be passed on as a grant to states, and 70% of the grant provided will be used for asset creation. तो जो भी पैसा बचेगा सब्सिडी से, उसका 50% जाएगा स्टेट्स के पास. उस 50% का 70%, ठीक है, that will go into asset creation. This is just for your understanding. इतना factual information आपको याद नहीं रखना. ठीक है? ठीक है? Remaining 30% जो बच गया, it can be used for rewarding and encouraging the farmers. ठीक है? सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप बना दो, FPOs बना दो, ताकि उनको empower कर सको, उनको एक इंसेंटिव भी मिले कि हम कुछ अच्छा कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। तो डेटा अवेलेबल फर्टिलाइजर मिनिस्ट्री डैशबोर्ड, IFMS इंटीग्रेटेड फर्टिलाइजर मैनेजमेंट सिस्टम, वो डेटा यूज किया जाएगा, ठीक है। हमने कल पढ़ा था बाबा एटॉमिक रिसर्च सेंटर के बारे में, हाउ होमी जहांगीर बाबा ही वाज द फाउंडर। तो रेडिएशन लेवल की बात करते हैं यहाँ पे। साइंटिस्ट एट बार have found that natural background radiation levels in parts of Kerala are nearly 3 times higher than the previous assumed, ठीक है। वहां पे रेडिएशन लेवल्स बहुत ज्यादा है। इसका क्या मतलब होगा? that there are certain radioactive materials maybe beneath the surface of earth, ठीक है। रीजंस क्या है? प्रेजेंस ऑफ granitic and basaltic volcanic rocks leading to higher levels of radiation from uranium deposits. दूसरा, higher deposits, radiation deposits in levels in column are attributed to monazite sand. आपको पता है कि इंडिया में मोनाजाइट कहाँ मिलता है? ये केरला में, कोस्टल एरिया में। और मोनाजाइट से हम क्या निकालते हैं? थोरियम, which has been an integral part of our nuclear program. So try to understand this thing as well, ठीक है। नेक्स्ट आप आ जाइए, lacase enzyme. The enzyme called lacase, generated by a group of fungi, has been found capable of degrading a variety of hazardous dye molecules. ये इतना इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है, इसको हम स्किप ही करेंगे, ठीक है। Deforestation. According to a new report, India has seen rise in deforestation. This is also important from your mains perspective. You can skip this as well because this factual data is also not important, and otherwise also. Okay. India misses renewable energy target. क्या है? Parliamentary panel has attributed low installation of solar rooftop projects and wind energy. तो इंडिया में इसने थोड़ा सा लैग किया है, जिसकी वजह से जो हमारा 175 गीगावाट का टारगेट था बाय 2022 में हमने 175 गीगावाट ऑफ रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस कर रही थी। वी फेल लिटिल शॉर्ट ऑफ दैट, ओके। हमने कितना अचीव किया उसमें अभी देखेंगे। इंडिया ने टारगेट क्या सेट किया था 2014 में कि 175 गीगावाट रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी हम प्रोड्यूस करेंगे बाय 2022, जिसमें से आपका 100 गीगावाट सोलर होगा, solar energy will be 100 gigawatt, wind will be 60 gigawatt, and biopower, that will be 10, and small hydel projects, they will account for 5 gigawatt, ठीक है। इंडिया ने एनहांस तो किया, बट फिर भी उसके बावजूद वी आर अनेबल। पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी ने क्या फाइंड किया कि कैपेसिटी ऑफ 90 गीगावाट हैज बीन इंस्टॉल्ड इन द कंट्री दिसंबर 2022 तक। पिछले साल के अंत तक हमने 90 गीगावाट आउट ऑफ 175 हमने अचीव किया, विच इज जस्ट द 69%। जो 40 अगेंस्ट 640 गीगावाट, ओनली 7.4 ऑफ द सोलर रूफटॉप प्रोजेक्ट हमने अचीव किए हैं। तो उसमें से जो हमारा 100 था, हमारा 100 जो सोलर था, उसमें से हमें 40 सोलर रूफटॉप करना था और 60 आपको अदरवाइज करना था, जो आपके फोटोवोल्टिक सेल्स होते हैं। तो उसमें से हमने सिर्फ 7.4 गीगावाट ही अचीव किया है, और विंड के केस में only 41.93. So there are certain areas where we have fell short. So this is, you need to understand these things. This is an important topic. ये आप थोड़ा सा पढ़ लें। इंडिया के ने टारगेट्स कितने सेट किए थे, अचीव कितने किए, विंड में कितने, सोलर में कितने। जस्ट रिमेंबर दिस। वाटर इज अ स्टेट सब्जेक्ट, ये भी याद करना है। वाटर क्या है? स्टेट सब्जेक्ट है, ठीक है। और आपका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में आएगा। कॉन्करेंट लिस्ट में क्यों आएगा? क्योंकि सेंटर का और स्टेट का इसमें इक्वल रोल होगा, और सेंटर की ऑब्वियसली पावर्स विल ओवरराइड ग्रेजुअली। So we'll close the lecture, today's lecture here. We'll stop for a few doubts if you guys have. और आपको अभी तक कितना समझ आ रहा है? कुछ डाउट्स हो रहे हैं? How is the approach for the classes? You can share your feedback now. My throat is not too well, so you guys can, ask a few questions. I'll try to answer. आयुषी, नूरदीप, रुचिका, बताएं कुछ डाउट्स हैं आपको तो।
Yes, sir. No doubt as of now.
हाँ जी, बोलिए।
Everything is clear, sir. No
ठीक है,
doubt as of now.
फाइन फाइन फाइन, ठीक ठीक। बाकी सबको, बाकी अप्रोच ठीक है, क्लासेस आपको समझ आ रही है अच्छे से, मतलब कोई अप्रोच में इफ यू हैव सर्टेन प्रॉब्लम्स इन फॉलोइंग पेस और अदरवाइज आल्सो फील फ्री टू आस्क, बिकॉज द आइडिया इज आपको समझ आना चाहिए एग्जाम पर्सपेक्टिव से। वी कैन स्लो डाउन अ बिट एज वेल if you guys feel the need to, we can do that. All well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. Tomorrow we are not having any class. Sundays will be mostly off. So we'll convene on Monday now, reconvene. Mostly current affairs class will be at 3 p.m. I will tell you about the GS class timings. By tomorrow you will get a message. Okay? Okay, guys.
Okay.
Thank you so much. See you on Monday now. Take care.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Wonderful.